Well, my friend sent me this game and said this might be the fattest YouTube game ever. But what was actually fat was the amount of brain cells that I lost looking at this game. And now we all get to share the pain together. Let's dive right in. We have a French defense, and the opening is quite good and quite peaceful. Both players just develop pieces. No complaints here. No brain cells being lost here. But then we have the first blunder. Pawn to b4. White thinks they are playing the Evans gambit, but this pawn to b4 is not the Evans gambit. This is the just lose your pawn on c3 for no reason gambit. And not only that, but it comes with an attack on the queen. And things just get really awkward for white really quick. But also, after this happens and you move your queen, this pawn is now hanging too. So it basically loses 2 pawns. And also, there's en passant. You see en passant on the board, you gotta play it. That's the rules. But Black has a 10,000 IQ idea to punish pawn to b4, and it is not. It is not taking the pawn on c3. It is playing queen to g6, setting up a nice little tactic. This nice little 900 elo tactic of bishop takes here, threatening checkmate, and you can't take back because the pawn is pinned. Right? Just one move threat, 900 elo tactics. And white, to his credit, or her credit, sees that this is a threat. And they decide to defend the threat again with the best way they know how. And that is to simply unpin that pawn. However, this loses the game because, again, this pawn is hanging. What white had to find was knight to h4, danger levels. White does not watch enough Gotham chess to learn about danger levels because knight to h4 comes with an attack on the queen and it comes with an attack on the bishop. So at the very least, you trade the bishop off, and then the pin tactic that I talked about that Black set up, that they spent time for not taking free pawns to set up, that is no longer there, and white is Bing chilling, just like John Cena eating ice cream. However, now Black has a huge advantage. You take this pawn, comes an attack on the queen, and then this pawn is so weak it's going to fall shortly after, but Black decides to just move this pawn on h6, which accomplishes literally nothing. For the life of me, I cannot figure out why Black played this move, and I feel like maybe if I really searched the codex, if I really searched the Jedi archives, maybe I can figure out why Black played this move, but I feel like it would cost me some brain cells, so we're just going to leave it here. And now white sees their pawn was under attack and eliminates the attacker. Good move. Bishop takes, and now knight 1 to d2, a solid move. The computer liked pawn to a4 because it's like, oh, computer's thinking, oh, you're attacking my king side. I'll just attack your queen side with pawn to a4. Then pawn to a5 is coming, attacking the knight. The knight's going to have to go back, and you can just march forward on the queen side, put a bunch of pressure, get a passed pawn, get a queen, make Black give up like a rook or something for the passed pawn, and then boom, you're just ahead. But okay, now the computer doesn't like rook to e7 for a couple reasons, but the main reason is that it wants to preserve the bishop pair. Grandmasters, computers, and people who are actually good at this game, unlike the players in this video, and me, because I'm not good at this game either, are good with the bishop pair. I am garbage with the bishop pair, and these 900 elo players are also not that good with the bishop pair in my experience, so this is a fine move because you want to double up on the e file and get some pressure, right? So we have a trade, and now rook takes e4, and now knight to d2, attacking the rook. The computer is just 10 steps ahead of me apparently and likes knight to e5, which after you play something like bishop captures and then pawn, I'll just draw the arrows. Knight to e5, Bishop captures, pawn captures, rook captures. It looks like white just loses a pawn, so I don't know the idea of this move. Uh, so Stockfish is just on some drugs. It's just in a whole different plane of existence for me, and I need to like go down to wherever to South America with Aaron Rodgers and do some ayahuasca with him in order to understand knight to e5. But anyway, we have rook to h4, which accomplishes absolutely nothing at all. Um, there was a bunch of safer squares for the rook that were fine. But rook to h4, maybe you're just preparing an attack on the king. Fair enough. Now we have some more development. Rook to e8. The danger with rook to e8 is that you're kind of lined up here. And if there could be a situation where, not now, where some discoveries could happen. But the king, like, if this king ever gets off the back rank, then there could be some nasty discoveries with like the bishop moving. But so it's a little risky. The computer like pawn to f4, just monkeying ahead with the pawns, and now knight to f1. And again, the computer liked the queenside counterattack, but why counterattack when you can just move your knight around? Now we have knight to d7. Black's like, oh, you're moving your knight to the king side? I'll move my knight to the king side. Fair enough, but this move is a problem, and it loses this pawn. Pawn to d5, or the pawn on d5, queen to d5 is up a clean pawn, and also comes with a fork of this pawn and this pawn. So basically, black blunders 2 pawns with this move, and now white is just straight winning, but white plays knight to h2 and blunders the game because this move does absolutely nothing for white. But white had a plan, and it's to just move the knight over here on the edge of the board where it only controls 3 squares and also just accomplishes absolutely nothing. I don't know what this move is about. Okay, knight to f6. Now the pawn is defended by this knight. All the threats are gone. We have pawn to g4. Pawn to g4? What? This weakens white's own king. If you wanted to waste a move to see what black's gonna do because you don't want to move any pieces on the king side, you know, like at least play something like rook to c1 like the computer suggests, and you improve your position. You know, like you don't have to just like if you want to waste a move, which is maybe what this move is supposed to do. That's the only thing I can think of why white would play pawn to g4 is just trying to waste a move. First of all, you don't waste moves with pawns. And second of all, you just improve your position. Play rook to c1 and defend this pawn, which is really weak. And now white targets that weak pawn immediately. Knight to e4. And black targets the pawn. White plays bishop to d2 defending. Now, the bishop is hanging. But if you take the bishop, white takes here with check, king moves out of the way, and then white can move the queen to safety. But black can also bait this by playing king to h7, and now if you take the pawn and then this takes, you can take the queen here because it doesn't come with a check anymore. But black does not decide to bait this. Black also had a nice little tactic, and that tactic was rook takes on h3. And after the queen takes back, you have knight here with a fork. Okay? But this is 900 elo chess, and they do not sacrifice the rook. They play rook to e6. And now we have rook a to d1 defending the bishop that was under attack. But this allows black to play rook to f6, the only exclamation mark move of the game, and this wins a queen because the best move is to defend the queen with the king, and then just like take the rook that takes the queen back, so at least you get something. But white decides to give their queen away for absolutely nothing by just placing it here, and now the pawn can just take it. But black finishes the game with style points, and instead of just taking the queen like a Neanderthal, black plays knight takes on f2 with check, forking the king and the queen, and white resigns. And this is a game that occurred on chess.com and is certainly one for the record books.